And let's head over into our account controller, and then we need to actually check out the register action first. So there's a bunch of methods in this controller. We have the get register here, but we need to look at the post register. Okay, and here is the source of the bug. As far as I'm concerned, it's a bug. You can see that it's going to create this new application user object, and it's setting the username equal to the model.email and the model equal to the model.email, which is not correct. I think that the username should be set to the model.username. And so we need to actually go ahead and set that properly and add that to our register view model properties here. And so you can see it's also doing all this data validation with some of these different data attributes here. We're just going to go ahead and add to this model here username as a string. And we'll go ahead and make ours required as well, and we'll set a string length on it. Just to keep the length of the usernames reasonable, we'll set it to a string length of, say, 20. And then it's using some string interpolation here with an error message. And so we can make our error message for the username say the blank must be at least blank and at max blank characters long. So we'll set our minimum length here to, like, say 3. And we can also use an attribute to set the display of name to just username. All right, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up this model a little bit. And yeah, so this is our register view model. This is actually what's getting put out on our register view. So now if we visit our register view, which will be under views, account, and register, what I'm gonna go ahead and do here is add directly under email. We're gonna add another div form group with, now that we have this property, to go ahead and add the username here. So input should be username, and we'll use ASP validation for username. Okay, so now our register form will allow the user to actually provide a username. And if we go back, we'll go ahead and close this. We can close our view model. We can go ahead and close some of the other windows, and I'm gonna go back to account controller here. And so now when a new user object is created, it will actually indeed use the username from our view and set that to the proper username field, which identity provides. It just wanted to set the email previously, and sets the email properly to model.email. Okay, the other thing I'm going to do here is I can also set our member since, which is on our implementation of our application user. And so we can just say datetime.now. Okay, so that's looking a little bit better. I also would like to clean this up a little bit. Just because in general I don't typically like to put objects on a single line if they have more than one property getting assigned. Alright, so that looks a little bit better. And now let's head up to our login method, which we passed earlier on the way down here. And where we have this password sign in async method, and you can see that it's checking the email and the password. So indeed it is checking the email. And so if you'd like users to be able to sign in with their username, then we could specify that here. Or perhaps you might set something up where it checks against whether either the combination of email and password or username and password work. It looks like it was checking the model email after all, so that's good, which means that we should actually be able to sign in with the email. So what I'm going to do is set a breakpoint here and go back and double check dataseeder class, which says that our email is admin@example.com and our password should be admin. So let's go ahead and give this another shot. Go ahead and start up the application. And here we can also now double check to make sure that we still only have one instance of our admin user, as well as one instance of our admin role, and if that wasn't the case, then I presume we would have actually gotten like a SQL insert error. Okay, so we'll try to sign in again. And we had admin at example.com and admin. Okay, so we hit our breakpoint. Let's go ahead and hit F10. So model email is admin@example.com and the password is admin. Go ahead and minimize this. So we'll hit F10. And so we're still not getting a result succeeded. And so it's going to return to us an error here. And so now I'm interested to kind of debug why this doesn't happen to be working. Let's go ahead and try to register a new user and see if this works. In any case, we can see that we now have this username field. And again, this is another view we can add our own styles to. But let's make a test user at example.com with a username of test user and a password. So I'm going to create another password here. So go ahead and do the same and then click register. So you can see that we're now authenticated as test user, and it looks like we need to fix up the nav bar as well. Let's go ahead and sign out. And okay, it looks like we need to fix up our sign out method as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and debug a few of these issues. The first thing that we'll do is go ahead and fix our sign out method. So I'm going to close the browser. And let's go take a look at our sign out method. So we're kind of debugging a few things in parallel here, and this is just kind of the way things go. Particularly, I would say when you're working with something like, in this case, identity, where we're inheriting a lot of this code and kind of need to customize it to work. But all in all, it's not too bad. It's really just kind of part of the game here, and we will learn a little bit along the way, and it'll feel good once we kind of debug through some of these little issues. So we're gonna scroll down here to, here's our register method, here's our logout method. So you can see that logout is a post method, and that's something that we talked about previously. So let's go ahead and figure out if this was actually getting called. And we'll also, for that matter, look in our views in shared, and we'll go ahead and take a look at our layout.cshtml, and we'll head down here to our logout, and it does look like we do have a form here with method post, but I see the error already. Although it's in a form, we still just have a simple link to the ASP action logout. So that is obviously incorrect. So let's go ahead and just delete this anchor tag that wraps our sign out link. And we're going to make this a button. So we'll say button type is equal to submit, and class, we'll say button link. And we'll also say navbar button, navbar link. That should take care of it. And then, yeah, we'll go ahead and drop sign out inside of the button tag.